Hanggang 11 ba? 9 to 11 tayo ano? Okay. So 9 to 11. So we'll discuss, may oras pa tayo. We have 1 hour and 20 minutes left. So I'll discuss the RA 7920 para hindi tayo ma-late sa ating syllabus. And the next law would be anti-pilferage. Okay. Pero yung RA 7920 muna. Kasi week 2 today. Okay, sige. Let's start. I'll just share my screen. Sige, wait lang. Ayan. Is my screen visible? Can you see my screen, class? Okay, good. So we're going to discuss today RA 7920. So RA 7920 is also known as the new electrical engineering law. So ano ba yung contents? What are the contents of the new electrical engineering law? So it contains the practice, the licensing, registration, and professional responsibility of electrical engineering practitioners. Okay? So kasi hindi lang naman electrical engineer ang nandyan. We have professional electrical engineer or PEE, and we also have registered master electrician. Okay? So yun yung contents ng ating RA 7920. The practice itself, yung licensing, registration, and yung mga responsibility nyo as an electrical engineer practitioner. Okay. So, why this law matters to an EE student? So, bakit nga ba ito importante for you? So, for you to be able to know who may legally practice electrical engineering, who may sign, who may seal, who may supervise, who may install, operate, and maintain electrical systems. And what are the qualifications for PEE, REE, and RME? And what happens when a practitioner violates the law? And why does professional licensure matter to public safety? So, yun yung mga malalaman nyo and why this is important to discuss to you. Kasi sabi ko nga, 1 to 2 years from now, you'll become an electrical engineer. So you are an electrical engineering practitioner. Ano po? So kaya mahalaga na malaman yung the laws that regulates yung professions natin. Ano po? Okay? So for learning objectives, at the end of this discussion, you should be able to explain the purpose of the structure of RA 7920, define the important terms used by law, you distinguish PEE, REE, and RME, the qualification, and of course, yung field of practice nila, and explain the role and powers of Board of Electrical Engineering, describe examination, registration, licensing, oath, continuing professional education, and SIL requirements. And meron din tayong 34 to 35, 31 to 34 sections, mga practical engineering situations, and we have to identify the prohibited acts and disciplinary grounds and penalties. So, yun yung mga i-discuss natin under RA 7920. Okay, so for section 1, lagi nandyan yung mga title ng mga batas natin. So, our RA 7920 is also known as the Electrical Engineering Law. So, yun na nga yung sinabi ko kanina that it is the comprehensive regulation of practice, licensing, registration of electrical engineers and electricians. And then we have section 2. So, definition of terms, iyan. So, nandyan yung mga legal vocabulary na kailangan yung malaman when you are dealing with the provisions of the law. Okay? And it says here that the most important meaning is yung practice of electrical engineering. So, yung provisions natin, it provides the statutory, when you say statutory meaning, it means the legal meaning. We are pertaining with the legal meaning of the practice of engineering. So, what are the scope? What are the limitations of the practice of engineering? So, that is why it's in the definition of terms. Ano ba yung tinutukoy niya specifically? Okay? So, kaya tayo may definition of terms para alam natin. Although alam naman na natin yung mga bagay-bagay na iyon as an electrical engineering students, there are technical terms na pinapaliwanag pa rin sa definition of terms para kaya kanino? Of course, para maintindihan ng lahat. Okay? Na ito palang ibig sabihin nun sa batas na ito. Okay? So may kanya-kanya yung definition of terms or specific meanings when you are dealing with the provisions of the law. Section 2 tayo. So, practice of electrical engineering. So, definition niya ng practice of electrical engineering. So, what is the practice ba of electrical engineering? So, a person is in the practice of electrical engineering when he or she renders or offers professional electrical engineering service. So, nakadoon sa practice of electrical engineering, it specified yung mga practice or services na ginagawa ng isang electrical engineering professional. So it includes consultation, investigation, evaluation, management, design and preparation of plans, specification and estimates, supervision of erection, installation, testing, commissioning, ayan, supervision of operation and maintenance. We also have here supervision of manufacture and repair of electrical equipment, and also yung teaching. So this teaching is also a practice of electrical engineering o yung mga nasa academy na professional. Okay? Mga electrical engineering professional natin. And also we have sale, distribution of electrical equipment and systems requiring engineering calculations or data. Okay? So yun yung mga uh, section 2 specifically provides for the specific meaning of the practice of electrical engineering and cited all the surveys that would constitute the practice of electrical engineering. So, yun yung kalagay sa section 2. So, marami pang iba. So, hindi lang practice of engineering. Pero syempre, dahil yun ang pinakamahalaga sa inyo, the practice of engineering. That's why we enumerated all the services that professional the electrical engineering professional could give or could render. Ano po? Ayan. So, meron tayong design, installation, testing, commissioning, operation, maintenance, manufacturing, repair, and teaching. So, yun yung mga actual engineering work. So, yun yung practice of electrical engineering. Kaya tayo pag nagtatrabaho na kayo, may iba't iba kayong designation or role sa isang company. You could be a design engineer, you could be an installation engineer, you could be a testing engineer, commissioning engineer, you could also be an operation engineer, and pwede ding maintenance engineer. So, marami tayong roles. So, lahat ng yun class is it pertains to an actual engineering work and pwede din namang teaching. Ano? So, hindi ibig sabihin lang ng professional services ng electrical engineering ay mag-wiring or electrical wiring. Marami siyang responsibilities and marami din siyang actual work. Okay? Yan. There are other important defined terms sa ating provisions or sa ating RA 7920, but I will not read it to you. Ano? So, kayo na lang ang magbasa nito. Okay? So, read on this. So, electrical supply equipment, what specifically an electrical supply equipment is, electrical plant. Kasi kapag sa mga definition of terms, it specifically provides the definition. Ano ba yung mga yun? Okay? Hindi sa hindi alam, but of course for the benefit of the public din, para alam nila kung ano ba talaga yung pinapertain when we say electrical supply equipment, anong electrical plant, anong power plant design, anong substation. Okay? Kayo na lang ang magbasa nito. So, you read on this. Okay? Because this is just a definition of terms. So, kayo na lang ang magbasa. Okay? And then, we have also voltage. Since uh, you are already third year. So, may mga, alam na kayong mga definition of terms. Mostly, alam niyo na kung ano ibig sabihin yan. But I would suggest that you still read on this so you would know what what the definition of those terms is cited in the provisions of RA 7920. Ano po? And then we have section 3. Ito naman ay Board of Electrical Engineering. What is the composition of our Board of Electrical Engineering? So what is Board of Electrical Engineering? So The board is a collegial body under the general supervision and administrative control of the PRC. So the composition of BE or the Board of Electrical Engineering is one chairperson and you have two board members. So it is appointed by the president. Of course, from qualified recommendation or nominees through the process specified by this act. So ano siya, appointed siya ng president. Again, this is a Board of Electrical Engineering. Ang composition niya ay one chairperson, two members. Ayan. For Section 4, it provides for the powers. Ano ba yung mga powers, mga duties ng ating Board of Electrical Engineering? So, Section 4 gives the board regulatory, administrative, rulemaking, and quasi-judicial functions. When we say quasi-judicial functions, it means court-like. So, pwede silang mag-hear ng case, mag-decide ng case, or related of course to our profession, hindi pwedeng sa ibang kaso. So, related lang sa ating profession or sa practice of electrical engineering profession. So, yun lang yung pwede nilang i-regulate and pwede nilang i-hear or decide na kaso. If ever na may mga settlements with regard to our profession, they are the ones na nagde-decide and nag-hear or nagtatry nung case na yun. Ano po kasi they are performing quasi-judicial functions. Okay? So ano ba yung mga gawain ng mga Board of Electrical Engineering? So we have the board may supervise, regulate, practice, evaluate applicants, prepare and conduct examinations, set syllabi and relative weights for the, of course, for the subjects na nakalagay sa syllabi, and of course, register successful applicants, issue special permits to qualified foreign professionals, inspect workplaces, promulgate rules and code of ethics. So, ayan, kasi nga quasi-judicial function sila. So, they could also promulgate rules and code of ethics. Ano po, and pwede din silang, uh, sabi kanina, rulemaking. Ano, and investigate violation, issue subpoenas. Sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, quasi-judicial function, court-like function siya, so pwede siyang mag-issue ng subpoenas, especially related to our profession. Okay? Okay, within the scope lang, class, ng atin pong profession. And they could also decide. I have already mentioned this earlier that they could hear the case, they could try the case, and they could decide the case. What do you mean here? Pwede nilang i-hearing, pwede nilang i-trial, pwede nilang i-decide. Okay? So they have the powers to investigate, issue subpoenas, and decide administrative cases, of course, within the scope lang po ng electrical engineering profession. And they could also impose disciplinary measures and prosecute or institute criminal action. Okay? So, kasi nga po, they are quasi-judicial. Sige. So, yun yung mga function po ng ating Board of Electrical Engineering. So, yung mga powers nila. Ano? Okay? So, the board daw is not just an exam committee. So, it regulates profession before, during, and after licensure. So, kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, RA 7920, marami siyang rule. May practice, may licensing, may CPE, di ba? And then, so yung powers ng ating board, so before licensure, sila yung nagsaset ng qualification tsaka ng examinations for the qualified applicants. And after licensure examination, they inspect, and of course, yung depending on the ethics, and of course yung sa CPE natin, gumagawa sila ng code of ethics, and then yung sa continuing professional educations and discipline, they could impose disciplinary action as stated earlier sa ating previous slide. And this is a professional regulation in action. Yun na yung sinasabi ko sa inyo that the board can regulate our professions because they have a quasi-judicial function. So, meaning to say, lahat ng enumerated kanina responsibilities or powers sa Board of Electrical Engineering ay ginagawa nila or pwede nilang i-impose. Kagaya ng inspection, investigation, try and hearing the case, decide the case. Again, limited to the scope of the electrical engineering professions. And I emphasize that scope lang ng electrical engineering profession. So, hindi sila pwedeng mag-perform ng outside of that. Kasi they are just board of electrical engineering, specifically for electrical engineering. Okay? Now, qualification sign ng board members. I know, um, kailangan pa din natin siyang although it's not so much connected with you guys, kailangan pa din natin siyang i-discuss. So, qualifications, hindi naman po ako magbo-board member. Okay lang yun. At least alam mo kung ano yung mga qualifications ng pagiging more board members. Malay mo, sooner maging ano ka, part ng board member ng electrical engineering. So section 5, it includes the requirements such as dapat of course natural born Filipino citizen ka, you are a resident of 5 consecutive years here in the Philippines, and you are at least 35 years old, proven integrity, high moral values, no final conviction involving moral turpitude, BSEE degree from a recognized institution, PAA with a valid registration or license. So yung qualification ng board members natin dapat PAA ka. Okay? At meron kang engineering practice or electrical engineering practice ng pinakamababa ay 10 years. Ano po? And hindi ka dapat faculty, hindi ka dapat official ng isang BSEE institution doon sa iyong period of appointment. And hindi ka din dapat connected sa review center or group na nag-o-offer ng licensure review bago ka ma-appoint. Okay? So, ayan. Yun yung mga qualification ng isang board members. Okay? Let's move on. So, remove term tayo. Ano ba ang term ng isang pagiging board member? So, ang board member ng electrical engineering class ay 3 years. So, they serve for 3 years and they could be reappointed for a second term, but they must take an oath. Ano? And also for Section 7, ito naman yung removal. So, what are the grounds ba for a board member to be removed from his office? So, a board member could be removed from his office if a member if they neglect their duty or they are incompetent, merong malpractice, examination irregularity, so then ground din yan ng removal for office. And unprofessional, unethical, dishonorable conduct after proper administrative investigation. So, syempre, before ka ma before ka matanggal sa iyong office or ma-remove sa iyong office, you will have naman proper administrative investigation, because if not, then it violates your due process. Ano? So, may investigation pa rin before ka ma-remove, and if you are proven to have violated or to have neglected your duty, then you will be removed from the office. So, yun naman yung uh, mangyayari sa'yo if you are a board member and you are not competent enough, or if you neglect your duty as a board member of the electrical engineering. Okay? So, yun yung sa Section 7. So, Section 7 provision provides yung removal. Grounds for removal ng isang board member. Okay? And for Section 9 naman, the commissioner is the executive officer of the board and conducts the examination through PRC framework. So, meron tayong tinatawag na commissioner. Siya po yung executive officer ng board and siya yung nagko-conduct ng exam. Paano ginagawa exam? Alam niyo naman kung paano. Through PRC, Professional Regulation Committee. Ano po? And then for Section 10, examination required. So, Section 11 natin is registration and license required. So, for Section 10, applicants generally must pass technical examination required by the Act except where the law specifically provides otherwise. So, in order for you to be a practitioner or electrical engineering practitioner, either RME, REE, or PEE, you will have to pass technical examination. That is required, of course, by this um, RA 7920. And meron din namang mga exempted. That's why it says here, except where the law specifically provides otherwise. Ano? So, may mga exemption. Bakit di ka na magte-take ng exam, pero pwede ka na mag-practice. So, there are instances of like that, but it's specified again under the provisions of the law. And for Section 11, we have registration and license required. So, for Section 11, ito yung registration. So you need to have a valid certificate of registration and a valid professional license before a person or you can practice electrical engineering. Subject again to statutory exceptions, because there are some instances where the law allowed the practice of the professions without certificate of registration and professional license. But we will discuss it later. Ano, so yung mga exceptions. Okay? So, kailangan before you practice electrical engineering, yung mga binanggit natin kanina sa definition of terms ng Section 2 sa RA 7920, kailangan meron kang certificate of registration and you have a valid professional license. You cannot practice all those mentioned in Section 2, yung practice of electrical engineering, kung hindi ka license. Ano? And then we have Section 12. So fees and special funds. So examination fees are prescribed by the commission. So kaya may bayad yung mga board exam natin because specifically provided by the Section 12 of RA 7920 that we have to pay for examination fees. And saan ba napupunta yung examination fees natin? So yun yung tinatawag natin na special funds. So applicants pay registration, mga licenses fees, and then may mga applicable fines. Discuss natin yung saan yung mga fines later on. But ang binabayaran dyan usually is the registration and the license. Ano po? So, yung sa special funds class, the act or the provisions of RA 7920 specifically provides saan napupunta yung mga fees na kino-collect nila sa mga applicants pag nagbayad sila ng registration fees, ng license fees, and also yung sa mga continuing educations. Ano, so yun po class ay napupunta sa kanilang mga programs. So I think may percentage yun, 90-10, 90% 10 yung kanilang pondo doon napupunta. But all are for the programs. Okay? Mga programs sa mga projects na connected pa din syempre sa atin pong profession. Okay? And then, for Section 14, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na exemptions for examination and registration because as provided a while ago by the provisions of the law, there are instances that that an applicant may be considered exempted from examination and registration. So, ano ba yung mga important exceptions? Ano ba yung mga exemptions na yun? Kailan lang sila pwedeng hindi mag-exam or hindi pwedeng mag-register? Na pwede na sila mag-practice. So, ang mga exemption lang nun is if there is a project. So, meron tayong government project or private project and meron tayong mga certain foreign electrical engineers for that project. Once na na-meet nila yung statutory requirements or yung legal requirements for them to practice under the exception of the law or the RA 7920, then they could practice their profession as electrical engineers or installers. And foreign professional must be legally qualified in their home country and secure the required special permit. Before they could practice here under the exempted circumstances, they should be legally qualified sa kanilang home country or their country of origin before they could practice here in the Philippines. Okay? And may tinatawag din tayong class na reciprocity rule. What do you mean by reciprocity rule? So, reciprocity rule is when you allow a foreign professional to practice his profession here in the Philippines, given or provided that their home country or their country of origin also allow Filipino citizen to practice their profession there sa kanilang bansa. So that's why it's called reciprocity rule because um, palitan, reciprocating. Kung pinayagan mo kami mga Pinoy na magtrabaho dun sa country nyo as an electrical engineer, edi papayagan din namin kayo dito sa Pilipinas to work as an electrical engineer even if you are a foreign professional. So yun yung tinatawag natin na reciprocity rule. They they're only allowed to practice their profession here in the Philippines if their home country or country of origin allowed Filipino citizen to practice their profession there sa bansa nila. Because if not, then they are also not allowed to practice their profession here. Kaya siya tinawag na reciprocity rule. Okay? And then, the scope is limited to contracted work. So, kailangan, before ka ma-exempt, or yun nga, before ka ma-exempt sa examination or registration, kailangan ay meron kang kontrata with the government or private project. Okay? And no independent private practice under the exemption. So wala daw independent practice, hindi ka puwedeng private practice. Halimbawa, wala sa kontrata mo, you're just halimbawa, nandito ka lang for government project and you want to practice kasi hindi exempted ka naman sa examination registration but you want to have your private practice here in the Philippines, hindi puwede. Kasi you are just given the privilege to practice your profession here under the provision the law recognize. Kasi kung hindi mo susundin 'yun, puwede pang ano yung exemption mo, mawala. Ano po, kasi violation 'yun, okay. And then Filipino understudy requirement for covered professional for foreign professional. And then we have here, exemption is limited in duration and may be renewed only as allowed by the board. So, kung halimbawa 3 years lang yung kontrata mo here, under the exempting circumstances na hindi ka na mag-exam at magre-register, after ng 2 years hindi na siya puwede, unless nga ma-renewed ka, okay. And also exempted from the board registration are engineering students, apprentices, subordinates working under properly licensed practitioner and certain persons operating small private generating sets within the statutory voltage capacity limits. So, puwede ka ring hindi mag-exam or mag-register if you are working under a properly licensed practitioner. Of course, yung threshold or limits nung atin pong operating system ay dapat within the limits no na provided ng ating batas. Ano, okay. So, dapat nasa limits kasi even you are a student, even if you're apprentice, even if you are a subordinate of a properly licensed practitioner and the operating system or generating sets na you have is that exceeding na doon sa limits na or threshold set by the by the law, ay hindi ka na din mae-exempt kasi hindi ka qualified dun sa exemption or registration under Section 14 of 7920 ng batas natin regulating electrical engineering profession. Ano, so kailangan very specific ang mga batas natin, class. Very specific siya. So pag sinabing student apprentice subordinates ng isang licensed practitioner, dapat may threshold lang na limits and pag umexceed ka dun, mag-exam at magre-register ka na. So that's why the provisions of the law provide for the threshold or limits of the generating sets ng mga capacity or voltage para exempted ka sa registration. And kapag nag-exceed ka dun, eh, hindi na puwede. Ano, even if you are a student and apprentice or subordinates nung iisang properly licensed practitioner. So, may nakaset lang na limits. Halimbawa ay 600 lang, bawal maglagpas ng 600 kVA yung ino-operate niyo na generating sets. 'Pag lumagpas ka ng 600, mag-e-exam ka na, magre-register ka na, okey? So, yun yung prinovide ng Section 14, exemption for registration examination. Now, Section 15, holding of examination, I think you are aware of this. So, twice a year tayo nagkakaroon ng exam for um, licensure. Tama. And yung schedule nila, syempre, ini-schedule yan ng board. Ano. And for PE applicants, they undergo interview or oral examination at the commission office. So, ito'y para lang sa mga PEE. So, sila yung may oral interview examination. Para maging PE ka, meron kang oral examination. Pero sa mga RE, RME naman, mostly written yan. Ano. And for qualified applicants, they receive notice of admission within the period specified by the Act. So kapag halimbawa, gusto mo mag-exam ng pagiging REE, you want to take the licensure exam, magbabayad ka ng examination fees. And during pagbabayad ng examination fees mo, may pupuntahan kayong lugar so kung saan man kayo mag-e-exam. And then they will issue notice of admission or NOA, and may number po yun. And then yun yung pagkikilanlan nyo as an applicant or as a licensure examination taker. Ano? So, NOA. Banda-banda dyan, malalaman nyo din kung ano yung NOA na yan. Ano? Pag kayo ay nag-take na mismo ng exam. Okay, for Section 16, it laid down the qualification for professional electrical engineer. So, for registration as a professional electrical engineer, may mga qualifications tayo. So what are the qualifications for PEE? So kailangan Filipino citizen ka with good reputation, high morals, with no conviction of involving moral turpitude, and you have your BSc degree, you have your REE status, certificate and license, it must be valid, and you have practice, uh, and you have active practice at least 4 years, record from or beginning from your REE registration. So, simula na register ka, dapat 4 years ka ng active sa practice before ka mag-apply ng PEE. Ano po? And dapat yung REE mo ay valid. Or yung license mo is valid. Okay? Section 19, evaluations. How are we evaluating ba the PEE? So, PEE registration focuses on professional experiences and technical work. So the applicant must submit certified experience record, and you also have to submit technical paper on electrical engineering project or subject. And pre-certification from PEE is verifying the experience record and authorship of the technical paper. So may mga technical paper pa na sinasubmit ang isang applicant kung gusto mong ikaw ay makapag-exam ng PEE. And of course, dapat ay you have passing mark on that experience record and technical report. So, ibig sabihin, kahit pala may technical paper ka, may experience record ka, kung hindi naman pasado ang marka mo, hindi ka pa rin makakapag-take ng PEE. Ano po? Nung PEE, PEE exam. So, kailangan pasado pa din. Next would be qualifications naman tayo. Ito para sa inyo to. Qualifications to ng mga REE, yung mga magte-take naman ng Registered Electrical Engineering examination. So you should be a Filipino citizen, at least 21 years of age, with good reputation, high moral values, with no final conviction involving no moral turpitude, and you have, of course, your BSc degree from a recognized institution. So I think naman after you graduate, you have all the qualifications for you uh to take the RE examinations. Or the examination. Yan, for written examination, so ito ay siguro familiar na kayo. So mathematics, it's 25%. So under mathematics, nandyan yung algebra, trigonometry, and so on and so forth. So marami lahat ng math subjects nyo ay lalabas sa mathematics. And then for engineering, science, and allied subjects, you have 30%. Under that, yung chemistry, physics, programming, mechanics, thermodynamics. And then we have EE laws. So nandyan din sa ESAS yung EE laws. Okay? Economics and PEC din. ESAS. And for EE professional subject, 45% yan. So yung ESAS nyo is 30%, EE nyo is 45%. So dun sa EE, nandyan yung circuits, machine, and lahat ng mga EE subjects ninyo na na-discuss during your engineering. So ayan. So 45%, 30%, and then 25%. Yan yung written exam natin. So usually 2 days yung exam. Magkasama yung math at ESAS, and then lastly is EE. Kasi siya yung mas malaki ang percentage. So mas appropriate lang na mas mahaba yung oras niya. And then the passing general average, so passing standard natin sa EE or EE, so 70%, and dapat no grade below of 50, no grade below 50 in any examination. So bawal kang mag 50 below sa math, bawal 50 below sa ESAS or sa EE lalo na. And the examination covers basic theories and principles and is designed to be completed within the examination schedule specified by the act. So karaniwan ay 2 araw. Tapos RME naman tayo. So RME section qualification. So uh, if you want to take the exam for registered master electrician, so ang qualifications natin ay be a Filipino citizen. Kailangan na 18 years old. You have high morals, no convictions, moral turpitude, and meron ka dapat isa sa mga statutory technical background pathways. So ano yung mga technical background pathways na pwede para makapa-qualify ka sa RME. So kailangan under section 18, ito yung mga nare-recognize natin as an alternative pathway para makapag-RME ka. So, ang una, you have at least 3 years of a 5-year BSE program or pwede din namang 3-year Electrical Engineering Technology course plus 1 year specific practice. So, ayan. And then, you have 2-year electrician course plus 2 years apprenticeship, and you have 1 year electrician course plus 3 years apprenticeship, and you have 4 year in high school equivalent plus 5 years apprenticeship. Okay? So, pag ano ka, BSc program, mas madali na. So, 3 years. So, pwedeng ito na or tsaka specific experience lang. So, 3 years na BSc, qualified ka na as RME or pwede ka din namang electrical engineering technology course. Pero dapat may specific practice ka. Sumalin sa dalawa. And ito pa, if nakapag-take ka ng mga electrician course. Kaya yung iba ay nagte-take ng course sa TESDA because TESDA offers electrical wiring and installation, mga maintenance, ayan, or EIM. Ano, yung mga ino-offer nila doon sa TESDA. So that's why before they take the RME examination ay nagte-TESDA muna sila because they need the technical ano, kailangan kasi may technical knowledge ka. Ayan. So, for RMA, ano ba yung mga subjects natin? So, sa RMA, meron tayong 50% for technical subjects. Ano yung kasama dun sa technical subjects? So, we have Ohm's Law, we have electrical machines, control equipment, mga electrical components, yan, maintenance and repair, test equipment, relevant EE law provisions, and other related subjects prescribed by the board. So, 50% yun ang kanilang exam. And another 50% is coming from PEC or the Philippine Electrical Code. So, nandyan yung general installation, mga wiring methods, wiring materials, switchboard, panel boards, hazardous location, mga motor starter, wiring protection, tsaka yung mga drawing symbols, mga wiring plans. Okay? Which is, kayo naman ay familiar na diyan kasi kayo ay nag-BSE. So, yung mga, uh, yung PEC, dinidiscuss din naman yan dito sa course natin. So, puwedeng-puwede kayong mag-take ng RME, okay? And then passing general average pa din 70% pa din and no grade below 50%. So bawal magka-grade pa rin ng below 50%. So dapat ay 50% above sa both, subject ano. And then, we have, report of ratings and we have examination. So in section 20, it provides for the report of ratings. So the board, reports candidate ratings to the commission within the period provided by the ACT. So kaya medyo matagal yung pagproseso ng result because the board, sila yung re-report ng mga ratings ng mga candidate or applicants na nag-take ng examination sa commission or sa PRC. Ano po? And for examination, section 21, so kapag ikaw ay nag-failed, so failed applicant may retake the subject where the grade is 50 below. So pwede mong i-retake yung subject na 50% below pa. Subject to the statutory rule that the repeated subject must reach the required average to be considered to have passed. So meron doong required na average para ma-consider ka na pasa. So halimbawa nag-take ka, ni-retake mo yung 50% mo na bagsak, so puwede siyang, i-retake and then may isa-set sila na average na dapat 85% ka dito kasi retake mo na 'yan. So 'pag 85 pero hindi 'yun ano ha, hindi 'yun 85%, for example lang. So 85% for example yung kanilang sinet na threshold para malaman nila kung ikaw ay papasa or hindi. So kapag naka-85 ka, edi considered pass ka na. You can have uh, you are considered to have passed RE exam. Ano po? And then for oath, ang oath ay Class A in-specify sa Section 22 ng RA 7920. So, successful candidate must take the professional oath. So, yan yung tinatawag natin na oath taking. Section 22, provided yan ang batas. Hindi lang yan basta-bastang oath taking na kay ano talaga. So, yan ay provided by the law. RA 7920. And for registration class, we have registration begins when the registrant's name entered in the roll. So the certificate of registration is evidence of the right to practice. Kailangan meron ko yung certificate of registration. And a professional license is likewise issued subject to payment of annual registration fees and compliance with CPA requirements unless exempted. So, kapag kayo ay may lisensya na, meron pa rin kayong babayaran ng mga annual registration fees, yung mga membership dues. So, yun yung mga babayaran niyo after niyong makakuha ng lisensya. So, marami pa din, ano. And then for Section 24, ito yung, provision na nagpo-provide ng, about sa continuing professional education or CPE. So, sa CPE, ang CPE class is yung continuing professional education nga natin. So, hindi naman kasi natatapos yung learning just because you have graduated already the course or the BSCE program. So, yan ay continuous learning. Kaya tinawag na continuing professional examination. Ano? So, merong guidelines are prescribed by the board and approved by the commission. And a CPE council is created under a framework described by this act. And CPE supports continuing competence and professional development. So, bakit may continuing professional education? So, kasi nga hindi nga natatapos yung learning natin just because we passed the BSCE course, ano, or naka-graduate na tayo ng BSCE. So, kaya merong mga seminars, and kapag nakuha niyo na class yung lisensya niyo is meron kayong mga CPD points. Yung CPD points na yun, required yun before you could renew your license again. Ano, kasi 'di ba, may expiration yung lisensya niyo na halimbawa 3 years, 3 years from now ma-expired na siya and after 3 years kailangan mo siyang i-renew. Before ka makapag-renew, may CPD points na kailangan. So yung CPD points na yun, saan makukuha yun? Sa mga training, seminars na inattendan mo during nung nagpa-practice ka ng profession mo. Ano? And then yun yung kina-count nila as part ng continuing professional education. Okay, kasi nga, syempre, hindi nga po natatapos ang learning just because you got your license na. Okay? So, may mga attendan pa din kayong seminars, trainings para ma-renew ang inyong license and required po yun. Okay? Required po yun before kayo makapag-renew. And then we have integration of the profession. So, Section 25 tayo. So, electrical engineering professions are integrated into one national organization. So, siguro naman ay familiar na kayo sa ating organization. So, IIEE. Ano po? By the Board of as Integrated Association. Okay? So, nandiyan yung ating pong integration ng mga professions natin. So, yung sa inyo, pang junior yun. So, JIEE. Sa atin, pag nakagraduate na kayo at nakapasa na kayo ng licensure examination, that would be IIEE na. Ano po? So upon registration, PEE or EERME become members as provided by the ACT. And meron yung mga binabayaran na membership. So pagkapisan yung class ng examination, halimbawa napusan ng PRC ang pangalan nyo, pwede na kayong mag-register sa IIE. And yung steps naman are to be provided din ng organization. Ano? So i-seminar kayo how you could register. Ano po? After na pumasa kayo ng exam. Ano po? Okay, and then for PE seal, this is section 26. So, ang may seal lang sa ating practitioner ay ang PEE. So, a licensed PE may obtain the prescribed professional seal. So, saan yun gagamitin? So, for plan specification, reports, and other professional documents covered by section and must be stamped with seal when filed with government authorities or professional submitted or used. So, ang mga PEE class, sila yung nagsisell ng document para maipasa niyo siya sa government, ano. And then it's unlawful to use the seal after a PE has been delisted. So, bawal kang halimbawa PEE ka na, natanggal ka sa listahan ng mga allowed na mag-practice ng PEE or as a PEE, then hindi mo puwedeng gamitin yung seal mo. Kasi it's a violation din, ano. So, Section 27, personal identification on documents. Ayan, so if ever na meron kayong mga pipirmahan, mga i-issue na connection sa inyong practice as an electrical engineer, yung inyo pong mga pipirmahan o mga gagamitin yung documents is kinakailangan na meron kayong professional license number. Nakalagay dapat doon, date registered and date of expiry para malaman if you are really allowed or competent to sign, to use, or to issue that document. Okay? And para din ano 'yan, para saan yung purpose yan? Para din sa accountability class. Ano? So, Example natin yung mga doktor na lang 'pag nagpapa-check-up kayo, 'pag binigyan kayo ng reseta makikita niyo sa ilalim ng reseta nila meron silang professional license number, date registered, date of expiry. Para malaman mo kung, expired ba yung license niya as a physician or as a doctor, and then, violation yun ng kanila namang batas. Gano'n din sa atin ano, sa atin naman is kapag may pinirmahan kami, ini-issue kang documents related to our profession, kailangan may license number, may date of registry or registered date and then date of expiry. Para malaman kung sino bang accountable kapag may whatever, ah, halimbawa may nangyari na casualties ano, for example, ikaw ang pumirma dun sa plano, tapos nakalagay yung pangalan mo and then yung professional license number mo, tapos may date of registration and then may expiry date. Ngayon, yun sa plano na yun ng building, for example, ng building, nasunog si building. Ang reason ay short circuit or overloading, for example. Sinong sisisihin kaya? Eh, siyempre 'di yung gumawa ng plano, nung electrical layout. So, wag basta-basta pirma ng pirma. Tingnan muna kung tama ang mga calculations na nakalagay dun sa inyong pinipirmahan. Eh, yung mga design, eh, kung tama ang design, baka mamaya ay sala-sala na 'yan, sobra-sobra na sa required, loading, ayun. So, 'pag nasunog yung building, ikaw ang pupunta kasi ikaw pala nakapirma dito, license number mo ang nakalagay. So, accountability sa iyo na 'yun. Ikaw ang responsible doon sa halimbawa may namatay pa, di responsibility mo yung casualties, ano. So, yung professional documents na 'yun para ma-trace natin kung sino yung accountable or responsible registered practitioner. So, that's why it's important to include your professional license number, date of registration, and date of expiry of your license on every document you sign, you use, or you issue. Okay? Next, Section 28 to Section 29. So, Section 28 is refusal and Section 29 is revocation and suspension. So, yung registration natin sa Section 28, pwede pa yang ma-refuse or hindi payagan ng board. Bakit? Kasi there are grounds including conviction. So, kapag convicted ka kahit naman sa anong profession, hindi ka ina-allowed na mag-register sa isang particular profession once you're convicted with moral turpitude. Okay? And then immoral, dishonorable conduct, or unsoundness of mind. So wala ka sa katanuan, pero you want to practice a profession, magre-register ka, hindi ka i-a-allowed because under the grounds you can be refused. Your registration can be refused once you have an unsound mind. So kasama yung unsound mind, wala ka sa katinuan, wala ka sa normal na pag-iisip. Ano? And for Section 29, revocation and suspension of license. So after notice and hearing, ina-specify naman ng Section 29 na after notice and hearing kasi hindi basta-basta naman nagre-revoke din ng lisensya. If you are proven to have neglected your duty or you are incompetent or you acted with fraud, with deceit, then your license could be revoked or suspended. Okay? Kaya dapat kapag mga pipirma kayo ng mga plano, maingat kayo. Kasi that would constitute gross negligence kapag halimbawa basta mo na lang pinirmahan yung plano na without reviewing it and without calculating kung ilan yung mga loads na nandoon. Kasi you are an electrical engineer, so you would know dapat yung mga required ano, kung ilan lang, okay? And, kasi yung license natin is a privilege, so it could be revoked and suspended by the board. Ano, and yung issue pala, I would just, add that yung issue regarding dun sa, license ng mga engineers na walang license and engineers na may license. So, kasi nakita ko lang siya sa isang post na pinagtatalunan ng mga engineering students, I guess, because they are arguing which is better. Is it the engineering profession with a license or the engineering professions without license? So to answer that, it's both important ano, and yung kung tatanungin kung sinong better, wala po, walang better diyan kasi parehas lang namang engineering profession 'yan. You have different sets of, responsibility, you have different set of, task, 'di ba? You have different skill set. So, yung isa para siya dito, yung isa naman para dito. Bakit may lisensiya yung isa even they're same na engineering? Because class, yung lisensiya niyo is para saan? Ano ba ibig sabihin 'pag may lisensya? 'Pag may lisensya kasi class, ibig sabihin niyan puwede kang makapatay ng tao. You can endanger the lives of others. So that's why you have license. Hindi ka puwedeng mag-practice ng profession mo kung wala kang license because you can kill people, okay? You can endanger their lives. Ano po, so kaya ka may lisensya. Eh, bakit po wala pong lisensya yung ibang engineering na sa ano, course? It's because their profession do not require yung ano, hindi siya makakapatay ng tao. Pagpalagay automation. Sa automation class, mga machine ang ino-automate nila at nilalagyan nila ng design. So, walang manpower po doon. So, even if the machine fails, machine lang ang magsa-suffer and also yung kanilang production if ever. Pero walang may endanger na lives. Ano po, magfa-fail yan, 'di gagana. Ayun lang, o mag-iiba ng functions, ano. Pero walang madadamay kasi automated siya, eh. So, walang manpower. So, yung ano nila, field nila is designed to reduce manpower. Tama. And yung industrial, pagpalagay industrial, kasi may mga certification sa mga yan, hindi sila licensure, ano, certification mga yan. Paano po yung mga industrial? Ang mga industrial, they are also called engineers after graduation. So, engineer sila kahit wala sila licensure. It's because yung kanilang course is more on management, engineering management, more on supervisions. Ano, so, 'pag bumali ang supervision mo, eh, ikaw ba ay makakapatay ng tao? Hindi naman. Magkakaroon lang yan ng possible lang ay hindi sumunod sa'yo or hindi ma-target agad yung specific, ah, goal niyo for the month, puwedeng gano'n, okey? Unlike yung ating sa electrical engineering practice na ginagawa ng mga electrical engineering practitioner. So, magde-decide kayo ng plano, mag-specify kayo, magka-calculate kayo ng loads. Once mali ang calculation niyo 'yan, halimbawa, gumawa ka ng design sa building, ta's mali ang calculation niyan, puwedeng mag-cause ng sunog, puwede kang makapatay ng tao. That's why you have your license. So, that's why your license is very heavy, mabigat, super bigat. Ano, mabigat siya. So, kapag may lisensya ka, super bigat nun na responsibility. Ano po, so ibig sabihin lang nun kaya ka may lisensya kasi mabigat yung responsibility mo. And if you would ask me, do they deserve to be called engineers even if they don't have license? Yes, they deserve to be called engineers because they've graduated, they've finished their studies under those courses, 'di ba? Why would you deprive someone of the title engineer just because they don't have license, 'di ba? It would be unkind to tell them na, "Hindi ka naman engineer, wala ka namang lisensya." 'Di ba? Because you have different responsibilities, you have different set of rules, you have different set of qualifications. So you shouldn't compare. Maliban na lang kung sa mo din siya kinumpare, "Hindi ka naman engineer, wala ka namang oo, puwede talagang masabi mo hindi siya engineer kasi required sa kanya na kailangan may lisensya siya, engineer siya, ano siya, eh, electrical engineering. So, para siya makapag-practice ng electrical engineering profession, kailangan talagang may lisensya siya because it was specified by the law itself. With the provision of RA 7920, you cannot practice electrical engineering practice without license. Eh, sa kanila puwede 'yun kahit walang lisensya, okey? Their law specifically provide that after graduation, they could be called engineer because they don't have licensure. Ano, so walang better kung may lisensya or may ano, mabigat lang yung, responsibility nung may mga lisensya. So, wag niyo ng pagtalunan yung lisensya-lisensya na 'yan. Ano, ibig sabihin lang kaya ka may lisensya is makakapatay ka ng tao, you can endanger others' lives, yun yun. Yung sa kanila, hindi. Okay, so safe sila, walang ire-revoke, walang isu-suspend sa kanila, sa inyo meron. So you have to be very careful whenever you are signing, issuing, or using documents, especially if it pertains or related to electrical engineering professions. Okay? Okay. So as long as you follow the rules sa ating RA 7920, yung mga responsibilities, duties, and hindi nyo i-violate yung mga acts na prohibited dito sa ating RA 7920, then wala kayong if-face na consequence. Di kayo subject for revocation, di din kayo subject for suspension. And wag niyong gamitin ang lisensya to uh, do fraud, to deceive people. Ayan. Ano? Okay? So, yun yung Section 29 ng RA 7920. I hope you are learning. I hope you are getting the essence or the gist of the provisions of the RA 7920. So, even if it's face-to-face, even if it's online, sana class ay makinig kayo. Ano? Okay? So, I know medyo boring yung subject natin kasi puro batas, puro EE laws. But you can use this sa hinaharap. Ano? Kasi at least alam niyo na, ay bawal pala ako magganito, bawal pala ipahiram yung lisensya ko. Oo, bawal. Ano? Okay. And then, ayan, a very important disciplinary rule. So, Section 29 ito, it specifically identifies as a ground of revocation and suspension naman for PEE ito class. Ano? So, kapag ang PEE ay nag-sign ng isang design, ng isang plan, ng report, estimate, or specification na hindi niya ginawa or wala sa kanyang supervision, pero pinirmahan niya pa din o nilagyan niya ng seal, yun po ay ground for revocation. And also for representing activities na hindi naman niya pinerform talaga. Okay? Basta lahat ng may deceit or lahat ng may hindi mo ginawa at pinirmahan mo, hindi mo na-review, pinirmahan mo, wala sa supervision mo, pinirmahan mo, or kaya nilagyan mo ng seal mo. Kasi di ba ang PEE lang ang may seal. Pag ikaw ay nag-seal niyan, naku, ground yan for revocation or suspension ng iyong pong PEE license. Ano po? So, ang CRIM principle dyan ay bawal magpahiram ng license or ng seal. Hindi pwedeng ipahiram ang seal. Ay, pa-seal naman ako nito. Kailangan ko lang ipasa to mamaya. Kailangan ko lang ipasa to sa ahensya ng gobyerno para maiano ko to. Mag-push through yung project. Hindi pwede. Ano, hindi pwede kayo magpahiram ng mga license or ng seal. Kasi yan ay individual qualifications, yung lisensya. Okay? Section 31 naman ay field of practice. Ang PE natin, they have the sole authority to seal electrical plants. So sila yung nagsisil na electrical plants and they may practice all the scope or the full scope of engineering practice or electrical engineering practice. Pag REE naman class, it's specified professional function including charge, supervision, and operation, maintenance, manufacture, repair, teaching. Madami din namang scope ng REE. It's just that ang hindi niya pwedeng gawin ay yung mag-seal kasi wala siyang seal, di ba? Sa PEE lang yun. So, full scope pa din naman si REE, just that hindi kasama yung pagsisil. Ano? So, pwede pa din siya mag-supervise, pwede siya mag-charge, maintenance, teaching, mga sale distribution ng mga engineering calculation data. And for RME naman class, ang field of practice niya, usually it deals with installation, wiring, operation, yan, maintenance and repair. Of course, within the statutory fields. Ano? So, yung PE or RME natin, field of practice. And sa installation class ng mga machinery natin, kapag yan ay lalagpas ng 500 kVA or 600 volts, kailangan na ng supervision ng PE or RME. Sorry, REE, sorry. PEE or REE. Ang kailangan ng supervision ay sino? Yung mga RM, syempre. Pero kung hindi naman siya in excess or hindi naman siya lalagpas ng 500 kVA or 600 volts, pwede na si electrician. Ano? Pag mga installation ng machinery. Pero pag lalagpas doon, class ang capacity or mga 500 kVA na siya more than 600 volts, then kailangan na siya ng supervision ng REE or PEE. Tandaan, or pwedeng si PEE lang kahit wala si REE or pwedeng si REE lang kahit wala si PEE. Ayan. So, these thresholds are practicals number worth remembering for professional practice. So, yun ay para sa mga supervision lang naman. Ano? And for personal required, eto na. So, ano yung mga uh, personal required kapag tayo ay installation? It concerns with the installation. So, ano ba yung mga minimum professional personnel na kailangan. So, kapag ang rating or ang mga electrical plants lang naman ay less than or equal to 500 kVA or less than or equal to 600 volts, pwede ang RME. Ano, pwede ang RME. Siyempre puwedeng-puwede ang REE, puwede din ang PEE, pero puwede ng RME kasi less than naman siya sa 500. 'Pag mga industrial or commercial industrial facilities, 'yan, kailangan ay 'pag, RME puwede pa ding mag-apply kasi less than or equal 500 kVA. Basta 'pag lumagpas dun kailangan na ng supervision ng PEE or REE, the same as this 'pag lumagpas dito, electrical plants, PEE, REE, kailangan na ano. And for watercraft, corresponding PEE, REE, or RME may apply. Okay? So, ganun pa din. So, kung siya ay 500, pababa, pwedeng RME. Pero pag 500, 600 pataas, wala na. Kailangan ng supervision ng REE or PEE. And minsan ay kailangan ay dalawa. So, kailangan may RME ka, may REE ka. Kasi nga, may supervision. Pwede din yung tatlo magkakasama. Okay, so before installation, this is specifically provided by Section 34, Plan Supervisions and PEC. So before electrical installation, kailangan ay authorized yung person na magpe-prepare ng plans, design, specification. And kailangan yung PE ay siya ang pumirma. Responsible, charge, signature, seal is complied with, and yung construction permit ay secured na, and yung gagawin yung trabaho is in accordance with the Philippine Electrical Code. And of course, yung work is executed under responsible charge or supervision of the appropriate qualified work practitioner. So sinabi naman na natin kanina, kapag yan ay greater than or in excess of 500 and 600, 500 kV and 600 volts, kailangan na ng supervision ng PEA or RME. So, kailangan na yung trabaho na gagawin niyo is may supervision. Pero kung wala naman, then electrician. And government requirements are satisfied. Before you can do any electrical installation, kailangan makapag-submit pa rin kayo ng mga necessary government requirements. Ano? And for Section 35, ito na yung sinasabi ko na bawal ipahiram yung lisensya. Kasi nga sabi ko kanina, yung electrical engineering practice is based on individual and personal qualification. So, kaya ka naging EE is because dahil mo din sa sarili mong qualification at competence. So, hindi mo siya pwedeng ipahiram sa iba. So, a firm or corporation itself is not registered or licensed as an EE practitioner. So, yung mga corporation natin, hindi siya licensed as EE practitioner. Bakit? Kasi nga, individual siya. Yung firm at corporation pa individual, hindi, di ba? So, yan ay collective entity. So, yung license nyo ay para lang sa isang tao. So, individual siya and personal qualification. Therefore, a firm or corporation cannot in itself registered as an EE practitioner. And we have qualified PEEs. So, they may form partnership or association and collectively render services. So, pwede din yun. And each individual professional remains responsible for his or her own acts. So, ayun class, yung inyong mga ginagawa, siyempre accountable kayo doon. Pumirma kayo ng plan na hindi naman niyo sure kung yan ay naka-follow sa ating mga regulation. Kung siya ay sa PEC ay tugma at biglang may nagkaroon ng casualties, eh di accountable kayo para doon. Ano? So you are responsible for your own acts. So be careful, be very careful in using and signing and give or issuing documents especially related to your practice of profession or the practice of electrical engineering. Ano? So be very careful kasi sabi ko nga kanina, your licenses are privileges so they could be suspended or removed by the board, and ayun, you may face uh, penalties, okay, or sanction. Pwede ding imprisonment. Oh, posting of certificates. So, yung mga owners, managers ng isang facilities, kailangan maglagay sila ng transparent glass or equivalent na merong nakalagay na certificate of registration ng mga engineers at electrician na nandoon employed sa kanilang facilities. Para saan yun? Para makita na yung mga personnel or yung mga practitioner na nandoon sa facility na yun ay allowed to practice their profession and they're competent enough to handle those responsibilities. Ano po? So, yun yung reason para yang sa mga BIR, 'di ba 'pag paano ba natin malalaman yung mga business ay legit? 'Di ba may nakalagay doon na mga BIR kung ano bang mga certificate, ano. So, ayun kagaya lang din sa ating profession, kailangan sa isang facility makita na, "Oh, ito pala si engineer ganito, licensed electrical engineer pala 'to, so puwede pala talaga siya dito," ano. And dapat hindi expire yung inyong registration or yung mga licenses, ano. Okay. And then next is for certificate of specialty. So it is issued to the PEEs kapag sila ay nag-demonstrate ng kanilang specialized knowledge, training experience in specific fields. So yun ay sa mga PEE lang, certificate of specialty. So para yun ma-recognize yung kanilang specialization and competence. Of course, within the standard dapat yun ng boards at ng commission regulation. Ano, so certificate of specialty. To be given lang naman yun sa PEs. And then we have for reciprocity, as discussed earlier. I've already mentioned about the Section 38 for reciprocity. So this is where a foreign engineer is admitted or allowed to practice his profession here in the Philippines, given or provided that that particular engineer's country allowed also a Filipino engineers to practice therein or their own sa kanilang country. Yung profession nila ano as electrical engineers. Ano, so foreign reciprocity again is the rule wherein a foreign engineer is admitted or allowed to practice or to board examination or given rights and privileges kasi pwede silang exempted depending on the contract. So pwede din silang mag-exam kung hindi sila pasok doon sa exemption na binanggit ko kanina under those circumstances. So pwede silang mag-exam, mag-practice ng profession as long as yung country nila ay nag-a-allow din ng mga Pilipino na mag-practice ng kanilang profession doon. So yun yung foreign reciprocity. So tandaan yan. Ano? And then we have enforcement. So, sino ba ang nag-e-enforce ng RA 7920? So, constituent officer of the law or charged with prosecuting violations of the act. O, yun. Yung mga dineclare na officers of the law. And we have Secretary of Justice. So, yung Secretary of Justice is authorized legal representatives, serves as a legal advisor to the board, and provides necessary legal assistance for enforcement. So, yung atin palang legal advisor sa Board of Electrical Engineering ay sino? Yung Secretary of Justice. So, siya yung ating legal representative. Siya yung nagbibigay ng legal advice sa ating board. Ano po? Para saan? Bakit siya nagbibigay ng advice? Is kasi syempre, hindi naman yung board natin, di ba, is qualified engineers. So, PEE yun. Mga PEE yun. So, some do not know things about the law. So, they need legal representative or legal advisor for them to know kung ano ba yung mga ah, kailangan nilang malaman. And the Secretary of Justice gives them the necessary legal assistance para mai-enforce nila yung ating uh, RA 7920, yung mga iba pang batas related sa ating professions. Ano? Ayan, meron tayong penalty clause. So, yung penalty clause natin, so, under 7920, Section 40, so it provides for the penalties in violation of the mentioned provision sa RA 7920. So, pwede kang mag-fine pag nag-violate ka ng rules or ng provisions ng RA 7920, pwede kang mag-fine ng not less than 10,000 but not more than 50,000 pesos. Or pwede ka ding makulong ng not less than 6 months and not also more than 5 years. Or pwede kang mag-fine, pwede ka ding makulong at the discretion, of course, of the court. And bakit ba tayo may penalty clause sa ating RA 7920? It's for us to avoid yung mga nagpapanggap or mga unauthorized practice. Ano, kunwari may lisensya sa ang dali naman magpeke ng lisensya. RA, pag nag-violate ka doon, RA 7920. Ano, okay? So, fine noon, 10,000 to 50,000. Not less than 10,000, not more than 50,000. Imprisonment of not less than 6 months but not more than 5 years or pwedeng parehas. Ano, so yun yung penalty clause. So wag na wag magba-violate at talaga namang magfa-fine ka hanggang 50K. Pwede ka ding makulong ng 5 taon. Ano, hanggang 5 taon. Ayan. So, I have a BSc, so I can do everything an REPA can do. So, sabi, nakaka-discuss lang natin, 'di ba, hindi puwede. A licensed engineer can lend his or her seal, hindi din puwede. RME can supervise an installation, hindi puwede if it's greater than 500 kVA and 600 volts. Passing the board exam ends by professional obligation. Hindi siya matatapos. Magsisimula ka pa lang ng professional obligation and mas marami ka pang obligation. Ano, RA 7920 is only about board examination? No, it's not. Sabi ko kanina, yung RA 7920 is all about regulating the profession. Nandyan yung licensing. Nandyan din yung CPE or continuing professional education and yung registration. Ano, and yung mga qualifications ng practitioners, 'di ba? Ayan. So, RA 7920, so public safety yan, professional regulation. And then, qualification or examination, registration, plus license, divine scope of practice, ethics and continuing professional education and accountability, and safe professional service. So, yung RA 7920, pinomulgate siya para sa public safety and para ma-regulate natin yung professional electrical engineering. Okay? And dahil na-regulate na natin, nag-set sila ng qualification and examination para doon sa mga practitioners. Ngayon, 'pag pumasa ka, magre-register ka, magkakaroon ka ng license. And 'pag nagka-license ka, siyempre magpa-practice ka. 'Pag nag-practice ka, siyempre dapat yung practice mo is within the codes of ethics and yung follow the continuing professional education. And of course, because of the license, you are accountable. Dapat maging careful ka pa sa mga ginagawa mo because you have your license to take care of. Kasi pwede siyang ma-revoke, pwede siyang ma-suspend because again, your license is a privilege. Ano? And safe professional service. So kapag may lisensya ka, competent ka, ibig sabihin competent ka. You are authorized by the law, you are allowed by the law to do the practice, you are competent enough, you have the knowledge. So, kung ikaw ay competent, you have the knowledge, ibig sabihin, magbibigay ka ng safe professional service sa mga tao. Okay? So that's the big picture of RA 7920. Okay? Ayan, key takeaways. So kindly read on this na lang siguro pag na-post ko na siya sa classroom. So sabi ko nga, RA 7920 is not just about board examination. So nandyan din yung practice na electrical engineering, licensing, registration of electrical engineering practitioners, and dinefine niya kung ano ba talaga yung trabaho ng isa ng pagiging isang electrical engineering practitioners. May naintindihan? May naintindihan? Okay. Sure kayo, may naintindihan kayo? So, yun class ang RA 7920. So, medyo mahaba yung ating discussion kasi ito naman class kasi 2 hours lang talaga. So, natapos na natin yung RA 7920 and yung sunod na law is anti-privilege which would be discussed next week kasi pang third week pa yun. So ayun, sana class ay na-appreciate niyo yung RA 7920 na dati is parang RA 7920 lang sa utak natin, pero ngayon ay naliwanagan tayo what it contains, ano ba yung nare-regulate niya, ano ba yung laman niya, and sana ay mas pahalagahan niyo pa ngayon dahil kayo ay mga estudyante pa, third year students and mag-fourth year na kayo, so ilang ilang taon na lang and magbo-board exam na kayo. So 'pag nakapasa kayo, sana mas lalo niyong pahalagahan yung lisensya niyo and you treat it as uh, your responsibility na ingatan ano ang lisensya ninyo kasi ilang taon niyo siyang tinrabaho ano and pinaghirapan. So mas mahirapan pa kayo 'pag nag-review kayo. Okay? Susubukin kayo ng panahon ano 'pag nag-review na kayo. And sana mas na-appreciate niyo yung RA 7920 as engineering student, especially kayo ang mga susunod na magpa-practice ng profession na iyan. Ano, I hope you learned something from our discussion even if fast-paced yung discussion na medyo binilisan ko kasi. So, yung iba ay hindi ko na diniscuss ng super in-depth kasi ang alam kong kailangan ko lang i-discuss is of course yung makaka-relate kayo and yung kailangan niyo lang talaga during uh, yung ngayon. And para maintindihan niyo yung gist mismo ng RA 7920. Okay? I hope you learned something from the discussion for today. And sana ay makikinig kayo. Medyo alam kong naboboringan kayo sis because it's all about law, it's all about stuff like uh, super technicalities. But since ayun nga, your electrical engineering student, sana'y na-appreciate niyo yung RA 7920. May natutunan ka kayo. O baka iba'y tulog na. Siyempre kasaktuhan na rin ang kasarapan na rin matulog 10:55. Ano, okay, 10:55 mag-aalas 2, mag-aalas 11. Ano? So ayun, I'll be posting na lang the copy of our lessons sa Google Classroom. Ano? And I hope ayun nga may natutunan kahit papaano. Ano? So ang license ha, ang license ay hindi yan ID lang at valid ID. Kaya kayo may ganyan is mabigat ang responsibility. Ba't ga ako mag-e-exam? Ay pang-valid ID lang. Gusto ko lang magkaroon ng valid ID. O nga naman ay PRC valid ID. Pero class yung valid ID na yun is super bigat ng responsibility. Maliban na lang kung hindi kayo magpa-practice sa profession. So valid ID lang talaga ang purpose. Pero kung mag-practice kayo ng profession, hindi mabigat-bigat. Ano? Okay? Lalo na yung mga gusto pang mag-PEED yan. Okay? So, ayun lang for today. I think that's all. I'll be dismissing you na and kindly class provide na lang index card next week. 1/8 index card po or made to associate your names with your faces and mas makilala ko pa kayo. Ano? So, ayun. So, 1/8 index card next week kasi face-to-face naman tayo. Unless otherwise, again, announce na hindi tayo magkakaroon ng face-to-face. Ha? So, mag-atabay na lang kayo sa news if ever. So, if ever na hindi naman sa face-to-face, edi online. No? So, ayun, that's it. Class dismissed. Thank you for attending and I hope you learned something from the discussion for today. Questions? May questions kayo? Questions? Okay. So, wala. Okay, sige. Class dismissed class and you can proceed to your next schedule. Thank you. And have a nice day.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you po.
Thank you
Sige po,
po.
ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you po, ma'am.